Something about
Zandvoort.
that? That's what I said.
Zandvoort, not sandwich.
Same thing. I think it's Netherlandian for sandwich. I am your host, the one, the only Julio de la Vega Jr. Esquire, and with me is insert crude and
What
and
do we
humorous
pay you
nickname.
for?
Huh?
What do we pay you for?
I don't know, man. You guys don't ask me to do commentary for like 3 weeks and you expect gold?
It's not been 3 weeks, I don't think.
I don't think it's been 3 weeks now. I will call you from here on out the official drink watcher of Conor McGregor.
Okay. We are here to do the DTM series from Zandvoort in the Netherlands. This is, of course, BMW versus Audi versus Mercedes, although, ironically, the top two guys are not scoring for their brands because they are guest drivers, Martin Peterman and Alex Kruger. As is this man, Dirk Gretschel. I'm going with that. That's what I'm going with this pronunciation.
Looks good to me. What's this about Freddy Krueger? I'm intrigued.
Alex Kruger, not Freddy Krueger.
Do we call him Freddy Krueger?
There is a look at the starting grid, pending any last-second qualifying efforts. Leading the way, Martin Peterman, followed by Alex Kruger, Sean Kenny, Visar Jacoli, Lucas Cranbeer, Martin Edmonds, Josiah Jerome is the top Audi man. Richard DeRoche, Ariel Zatoni, and Gerardo Del Valle is your top 10.
I believe you. Lots of people wouldn't, but I believe you.
I feel like that's a pretty believable top 10. I don't think there's anyone weird in there.
I mean, they're all kind of weird.
Good throw out a performance, though. 12th place for Larry Foster, Academy driver. Very nice.
Foster's. Australian for racing.
But he's American.
Yeah. Close enough.
Of course, Zandvoort is a track of note lately because it's been redone and made ready for the F1 to return to the Netherlands for the first time in a long time. Although this season, of course, saw their race get canceled because of the Steve Carino scenario.
Indeed, Steve Carino is affecting us all. It's gone top heel globally.
He's always been top heel globally.
That is true. Underappreciated, but always top heel. So these changes they've made to the track, is one of them putting it above sea level, for fuck's sake?
No.
Okay. Just,
all right.
Amateur outside observation might be a good thing to do.
Red lights, and we are go. And Martin Peterman does not get off the line at all.
Yo!
Should be mentioned, backstory on that. He went to pee while the grid was forming and did not get back in time.
Ah, very nice.
He should have started from the pits. I don't know why he didn't. It's very rude.
I do not know.
Could have been really, really ugly. But that is given the lead to Alex Kruger, who leads away from Visar Jacoli and Martin Edmonds.
Get him, Freddie.
But this is a high tire deg track, so I mean, I can't imagine Martin will do anything remotely resembling a good job.
That is probably true. I hear he's working on a new tire compound that is entirely made out of petrified cheese curd.
The poutine compound?
Yeah.
Excellent. Ariel Zatoni's up to 8th place ahead of Valentino Rossi. So the two pink cars are running together. Should be mentioned, less pink cars this time. Elio Fernandez is absent, and Lucas Cranbeer took pity on us and changed it into a non-pink car. So, less pink.
I mean, less pink is good, I guess.
So many VWT cars. So many.
There are some people in favor of pink.
Ariel Zatoni on the tail of Andrew D. Battle for 7th place there. And Rossi, then Jerome. Looks like that's Martin Peterman. He did get rear-ended. That's why his rear end looks fucked up. There we go.
Giggity.
A couple big guns missing from today's race. Most notably, no sign of Elio Fernandez, who I mentioned. Nico Marchand, not here. and a couple of retirements, such as Gustav Ekstrom from the series and Enrique Hervas. No Ricky
Just
Spanish
because,
for you.
Gustav is extra. Musical recommendation of the week. Look up the band Hatebeak. If you're not familiar with Hatebeak, they were a band, and they're basically the vocalist was their pet parrot.
Interesting.
And it's like, it's metal with distorted parrot vocals. Just,
I mean, that sounds like a thing.
it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. There's another band that I can't remember the name of that had their dog do vocals. I'll see if I can find you. We got time. I'll try and look it up here.
So Kruger is sliding away into the distance as Valentino Rossi is under attack from Martin Peterman. Peterman has bagged Josiah Jerome for 10th, and his next goal will be to get 9th place away from Rossi. Down the inside he goes. I think this is the Audi S. Yes, it is. And he gets the job done. So Peterman up to 9th place. He's claimed 2 spots this lap. Sean Kenny getting real shaky there. And it might open up the door for a run from Lucas Crambeer, his Mercedes teammate.
I also enjoy cramming the beers.
Although Crambeer got the position into Tarzan and is up into 4th place.
You can try and get yourself some of those cranberry and vodkas.
Not a big cranberry fan in any capacity.
Well, see, the thing of it is with the cranberry and vodka, if you put enough vodka in there, it's not tart anymore, and it just goes down like Kool-Aid, and then you're fucked. It's very good.
Sounds like a thing I need to try.
Just make sure you get when you go to the store, get the sugar-free cranberry, because, dear Lord, there's so much sugar in the regular cranberry.
A ton, yes. So despite the damage to the back end of Martin Peterman's car, he seems to be not affected pace-wise, all over the back end of Ariel Zatoni right now.
Oh, the dog vocalized band was called Caninus.
I mean, that's a solid name. I'm down with that.
They had 2 dogs, Budgie and Basil, who did the vocals. Unfortunately, Basil died and had a brain tumor. And Budgie also died a couple years back.
Now I'm sad.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't have done too deep. They officially genres of death grind and grindcore. So if you want some like real bestial vocals, go look up Caninus, spelled just the way you think it is.
So Martin Peterman is lining up for a possible overtake here into Tarzan against Ariel Zatoni. Not this time, maybe? Oh, maybe. But Zatoni's got the inside line here, and it looks like, yeah, he'll retain that spot. So Peterman held off for the time being. And Andrew D, of course, rooting for Zatoni right now to keep Peterman behind him.
Excellent. Apparently, Hatebeak did a album split with another band called Glue.
Interesting.
Yeah, which turns out to be one dude who's a drummer and also does stuff on his own. Oh, did some drumming for Demons and Wizards back in 2000 and played some albums, Iced Earth. All right, okay, I've definitely heard this guy's work.
That's good to know. Josiah Jerome's still hanging on the back of this fight as well. Oh, Josiah, what happened to your car?
It's customization.
That is not remotely correct.
It's just
somebody's off.
It's the new skirting and
Ariel Zatoni off at the side of the road, so he's sliding down the order. So that does the... Or wait, he was not the one battling... Was he? Yeah, he was the one battling with Peterman. So I wonder if Peterman got into it with him? I don't know, but Josiah Jerome gets past Valentino Rossi for 9th place. And also in the mix there, Demetrius Simeonitis having a really solid run there in 11th, ahead of Ariel Zatoni and James Butler.
Excellent. Back on the Hatebeak tip, they have a list of album titles that are very clever. They have Beak of Putrefaction, which I can't remember what album that's a spin-off of. But they have one from Nile, which is Bird Seeds of Vengeance. The Thing That Should Not Beak, Number of the Beak, and their final album that came out a couple years ago was Birdhouse by the Cemetery.
So
solid names.
Martin Peterman all over the back of Andrew D. Of course, this is not good for BMW because Martin Peterman is not actually scoring for the BMW brand. He is here as a guest driver and taking positions off of actual BMW brand cars is not great for the team.
Well, they should have thought about that before they started racing.
I'm sure they did, but Martin Peterman was unable to be honest, Martin Peterman wasn't going to participate in this series at all. Showed up at Lausitz, won that race, and is back here again. So BMW probably wishing they had his services.
Sounds like somebody loused that up. I refuse to apologize.
In the meantime, Alex Kruger way out ahead right now. 5.2 seconds ahead of Visar Jacoli, who's got company on his tail in the form of Martin Edmonds, Lucas Cranbeer, and Sean Kenny. As speaking of action, Martin Peterman down the inside of that is Andrew D for 7th place through Tarzan.
D for baseball.
Yes, somehow.
Have I told that story before?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. It's that's really out of context if I haven't shared that story before.
Ariel Zattoni, I was going to say Zattoni's on a charge, but he's not. He's actually still stuck behind Simeonitis, so no progress after his spin for the Argentine driver. Christoph Verstappen back in 24th position. That's a weird one. Mauricio Delgado dropping some spots, so either off the track or possibly in the pits to repair damage. Not sure which is more likely. Probably the off the track option.
Probably got hit by a wallaby.
We, of course, have a mandatory pit stop in this race, although fuel is not much of a concern. You can do this track in more or less one tank of gas, but it is a high tire dig track, so you're definitely going to want to hang around to at least get the best of the tires.
I concur, because I don't have a real way to disagree.
I mean, there's always a way to disagree.
You're wrong, because they're below sea level, and therefore your calculations are incorrect.
Ooh, Martin Peterman is going to strike again. He's up on the back of Richard DeRoche, and again, through Tarzan. That's been his spot. That's been his spot all day.
Swinging from a vine.
And the pole sitter is now up to 6th place. Next on his list is the Eurotronics car of Sean Kinney.
What am the frequency, Kenneth?
Frequency is whatever keeps Martin Peterman behind him.
Correct.
Not a very strong outing for Audi so far. Josiah Jerome, the only Audi in the top 10. After him, it's James Butler, John Barker, Gideon Schultz, Leonard Burke, Robert Waddell, and then Verstappen. So Verstappen in last place of the Audis. That's strange.
Leonard Berkstein?
I believe it's just Leonard Burke. He's not quite that Jewish.
Well, I did the what's the frequency Kenneth joke already, and then we got Leonard Burke, but in the It's the End of the World as We Know It by REM, who also do what's the frequency Kenneth. Leonard Berkstein is mentioned immediately. So, I mean, there we go. It's all tying together. Big old conspiracy.
Everything worked.
Actually in charge of simulated racing.
Oh, I mean, mind blown at that point.
Kapow! And then
actually formed the ESR community.
Every time you crash, Everybody Hurts plays in
Everybody Hurts,
but no one talks about it.
And when you're like pondering not racing anymore, Losing My Religion plays. Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe that might be good. And
so the
gap, the shittiest time ever. Night Swimming plays.
The gap continues to grow. Kruger is now 7.5 seconds ahead, almost 8 seconds ahead, over 8 seconds now, of this battle between Visar Jacoli, Martin Edmonds, Lucas Cranbeer, and Sean Kenny for second place. And Martin Peterman is closing the gap, and will be with them shortly, I think.
Wait, Die Hard question, wasn't Die Hard with a Vengeance Peter Kruger? That's the name of the brother, right?
I believe you are correct, but I have not
there we
seen
go.
the movie in some time.
You haven't seen the greatest movie ever? No, I'm just kidding. It's not
It's
the
really
greatest,
not the
but
greatest movie.
one of them. Come on.
It's up there. It's a great movie. But,
I think Die Hard with a... I
oh,
see what...
Josiah Jerome getting past Andrew D, not letting that front damage trouble him at all.
Cha-cha-cha. Told you, it's just customized. It's actually good for going around right-hand turns. Helps the wind resistance.
One would think that much damage to the engine area would cause damage to the engine.
Well, see, but that also aids in cooling, so the more air gets to the engine, it's just gonna go faster. You guys just don't understand physics.
I think we do.
I don't know, man. You guys aren't really good with tires. Run out of gas all the time. Can't formate.
Those are specific people, not the
community
as a whole.
Well,
oh, Sean!
Hey!
Sean Kenny spins it.
Just waving at the camera. He's being friendly.
That'll relegate him from 5th place to... Well, he's 9th, right? No. Still dropping. 15th. 16th. Is he going to rejoin at some point?
Maybe.
Well, he's let Gideon Schultz past him. This guy, he's let Mike Magas past him. That scrub.
What a hooker.
And Daniel Hernandez is past him as well. So that's 19th for Kenny. Looks like he's rejoined. Maybe? Yes.
Probably.
Looks like he's rejoined. Okay. So still moving, but from 5th down to 19th for Sean Kenny.
Sean Kenny looking forward and going, damn, Daniel.
Ariel Zatoni on the tail of Dimitri Simonidis. Simonidis in the top 10 now. Ahead of Zatoni, Butler, Delvea. Delvea's had a really rough start to this race, actually. He's qualified in the top 10. He's back to 13th. So, not sure what happened there.
I'll tell you what happened. Fucking Sasquatch.
I mean, that's possible.
Got right out on the track, flagged him down.
It's possible. Ariel Zatoni is about to lose a spot to James Butler, I think, but the camera decided to go, oh, somebody off. That appears to be a lap car. That is off the side of the road.
Whoa.
Could be Douglas DeGroat, who is actually very far behind Vic Nash, so that would make sense. Taking the obeisance of blue flags a little bit too far. But,
I would like to submit my application for being the official pace car for ESR races.
I feel that could end very badly.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Martin Peterman all over the back of that is Lucas Cranbeer. So that battle is on. Peterman still cutting through this field like a knife through hot butter. BMW looking a lot stronger today than they have in the past. Jacoli and Edmonds both on the podium right now. Andrew D. Simeonitis in the top 10. And you have Gerardo Delvell, who's still very much a live component. Although some bad stuff as well. Douglas DeGroat, Vic Nash having a bit of a rough day. And Larry Foster, who qualified very well, is back in 24th. So having a rough time. Flashing the headlights there from Cranbeer. I don't know why.
Once again, slow number.
Peterman goes by quite easily. That is Douglas DeGroat getting out of the way in the 100 car. Gerardo Delval all over the back of Ariel Zatoni, who of course has lost a spot to James Butler. It's a bit early to be falling down a lap, so I wonder what has happened to DeGroat.
He probably got overthrown.
Maybe.
I'm not sure what the political situation is in Guyana, but, turmoil.
Probably tumultuous.
So I see a lot of, not to put spoilers or anything, or maybe I'm just foreshadowing things. I see a lot of shenanigans and goings on about your boy J Double now braking with his left foot. Is this a thing?
This is progress. This is progress, I think is what that is.
Is it because most people aren't coordinated enough to use one foot to do everything?
It's a little bit faster to do the two-footed method.
You just put your foot sideways and you can just push them in and out, just heel toe the whole way.
Indeed.
Come on, man. Advanced thinking.
To be honest, I can't.
Other foot for just like nervous.
I actually can't do that in my current setup because the wheel well is too narrow.
Wheel. Maybe you need to go to more yoga classes.
I mean, I think probably making a wider rig is probably the easier option there.
I suppose.
So Peterman has gotten Cranbeer. We saw that. Next up on his list is Martin Edmonds. So Battle of the Martins. Martin Peterman versus Martin Edmonds. And this is not really working out for the BMW brand because, of course, that's not their car, despite it being a BMW that is currently chasing their leaders.
Chase them down, hunt them for sport.
And of course, Martin does have, or I should clarify, Martin Peterman does have the DRS, although I imagine Martin Edmonds does as well. He's quite close to Visar Jacoli, so it's really Visar that is suffering under the lack of DRS right now.
Well, he should probably needs to bypass the DRM to get some more DRS.
Sean Kenny's up a spot. He's taken Daniel Hernandez, but is yet to catch Michael Magas and Gideon Schultz.
Dagnation.
Peterman's setting up for that turn one move that he's done pretty much all day, and he just gets right past Martin Edmonds and into third place. Josiah Jerome up on the tail of Richard Durocher, and he gets the job done as well. So the Audi driver is on the charge. Valentino Rossi, Dimitri Simeonitis side by side. That's a little bit ugly.
Whoa, hurtful. No body shaming.
It's not a body shaming, just a little bit. Oh my. Jesus Christ, Peterman. Martin Peterman is all over the back end of Visar Jacoli already. This is insane. He cannot be stopped.
Or can he?
I mean, I'm sure a machine gunner would do it, but that's what we're looking for at this point. It's weird. It's weird. I've raced with Martin Peterman before, and while he is definitively a faster driver than me, he's never been like this Mike Stoffmill-esque before.
Well, maybe he's just all hopped up on cocaine and good red wine.
James Butler has made a mistake at some point and has dropped back to 13th position. So next on Peterman's already got Visar Jacoli, so he's already into second place. And already blasting away almost a second clear. Insanity.
It's probably because of the illegal tractor engine he's got going on there.
I mean, maybe it looks like some lap traffic coming up for the leaders. Because that is Vic Nash getting out of the way.
Your boy Leonhard Burke is rocking some weird tires. Unless that's wrong.
That's a pit stop.
A likely story.
So what happened there is Leonard forgot to put race fuel in his car, so he started the race with his qualifying fuel, and needless to say, he had to make his pit stop as soon as possible within the window.
Well, that makes sense. Next time, just load aviation fuel. You won't have that problem.
And it looks like maybe Robert Waddell has been into the pits because he's at the back of the pack now. And he was Douglas DeGroat was pretty firmly entrenched at the back of the field. So I think Waddell has come in before the window, possibly to fix some damage.
Really interested to see how well Douglas will progress so that eventually I can make the joke that DeGroat is the GOAT.
He's got a great deal of speed. He just needs to learn to temper it to turn that into race results.
Like eggs if you're making pudding?
Yes. And in the background, Andrew D. looks like he was trying to make a move there on, I guess that would be Richard DeRoche. But I don't think anything's on at this time, as I can see that DeRoche is still ahead of him. Simeonitis going for it against Rossi again, and that is not working out for him. Zatoni in behind them. I think he's got it this time. Simeonitis, nice move. Beautiful move.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, all right.
Gets the job done, and that's 9th place for the Greek.
Was really waiting for that dude to get pit maneuvered, but it didn't happen.
No. So Valentino Rossi relegated to 10th by the BMW.
Word on the street is that Zandvoort is slowly sinking to the depths of 15 meters per year.
Probably. We'd have to ask Mike Stockmill. Mauricio Delgado has been into the pit lane and served his mandatory stop. It's a bit early to do a one-stop strategy pitting now, because getting 51 minutes out of these tires is going to be difficult, to say the least.
A Nordic marsupial type feat.
So, despite the fact that they have cleared their mandatory stops, Delgado and Burke are probably looking at another pit stop. Ariel Zatoni is dropping spots, so either he's been off or maybe he's down into the pit lane. Gerardo Delval is also dropping spots, so I'm thinking maybe they're in the pit lane. Yeah, Zatoni.
Life in the pit lane.
Zatoni has indeed made his pit stop, and I think that would mean Delval is also in the pits right now.
I've been slowly sharing, and sometimes not so slowly, sharing scary animal gifts with Paul Riccobeni's DMs on Discord.
How's he taking that?
Oh, pretty well. I mean, he's reasonably scared out of his mind, but, you know, pretty well. I'm slowly trying to, he's slowly leathering up and developing just mild trepidation rather than outright world-shaking fear.
Apparently, okay, yeah, Delval has been in. Okay, I was gonna say, what would be? Oh, Sean Kenny going very wide. Yes, that is Michael. That is Michael Magas up ahead of him, 15th and 16th place at the moment.
15. That's too old.
And I'm looking for Christopher Streppin's progress through the field. Only up to 20th place so far. Oh, one of the BWT cars driving into the pit lane. As Dirk Greschel looking for a way around James Butler. And I can assure you from personal experience, James Butler don't play. James Butler does not let you have anything for free.
That is correct. He is notoriously cheap. And I understand that he charges his wife to take the garbage out.
The BWT car that went in the pit lane, I believe, was Valentino Rossi. Martin Edmonds has also been in. Rossi with a drive-through penalty. Speaking of pit lane. So Edmonds has also been in. That's a very early pit stop for Martin. I'm not terribly surprised, if I'm being honest. Edmonds is the first of the front runners to come in, and it looks like they may have fumbled the pit stop because he's come out behind Zatoni and Rossi, who have also been in the pits. Now, Rossi has a drive-through, so he will probably be relegated. But
I'm sure it's fine, just minor engine fire in the pits.
I mean, could be. Could be drop nut.
These bolts?
Oh, Sean!
My goodness. How drunk is this man?
Sean Kenny, slightly off the track. Once again, losing a spot to Daniel Hernandez.
It's your boy Duke Threshold.
Very cool. Very smooth.
Indeed. That's going to be my new... I'm going to write a short story and my hero's going to be named Duke Threshold.
I was just more doing the Letterkenny Dirk thing.
Oh. Dirk.
You have not yet met the character known as Dirk.
No, I still have to watch the 8th season, which I keep telling myself, like, I can do it easily in an evening with no problem. I powered through all the other ones. But I got a little burnt out, like, powering through 4 fucking seasons previously.
Martin Edmonds, we got a shot there of him trailing Christoph Verstappen. Looks like he does have a little bit of damage to the front end, so maybe a headbutt of sorts against the wall. So maybe it wasn't the pit stop that really took him time, but an off that has delayed him.
Give him the inside-outside, put him in the wall.
A couple other cars have been in and out for service. These include Gideon Schultz, John Barker. John Barker going in early, which is weird. He's been one of the late runners historically in this series. I think we've lost Robert Waddell from the race.
Shocker.
As Dirk Gretschel is up on the tail of James Boutelier.
Indeed. May I offer you a gas pedal in these trying times?
Yes, you may.
So one of the channels on YouTube I subscribe to is the Tank Museum. That, they do the Tiger Day and Bob Tank Museum there. So since everybody's on lockdown, all of the staff are doing videos from home, so you get curator from home thing. And I get the general sense that everybody's just let off the chain somewhat because the museum director's making videos, which I don't think he's ever done. And he's like, I've got topics I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about them for 40 fucking minutes, and you're going to sit there and listen. I'm like, yeah, I will.
Ariel Zatoni going past Sean Kinney there. Oh, maybe not. Be a good idea possibly for the Mercedes team to let Ariel through, as he's got the fresher tires than Sean Kinney. So teamwork would dictate that, you two are not actually, in fact, racing each other. Sean Kinney is actually a pit stop behind Zatoni, and should probably give up. Oh, as speaking of giving up, James Butler got really wide there, and Dirk Gretschel's got that spot.
Duke Threshold crosses another one. Yeah, he did, the director of the museum did I can't remember, it was 20 to 40 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood, about hats and how it plays into courage and making people, go into battle and stuff like that. It's very interesting psychologically.
Interesting.
Yeah. As I try to talk about anything other than racing, for some reason.
I mean, that is your gimmick. I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's just if one person's not totally upset by this point, like, why did he talk about that cool path? Because I was busy.
Sean Kinney is still holding on against Ariel Zatoni, and this is not really working to the advantage of the Mercedes team. Zatoni needs to be making up time now on the fresh tires, because he's probably looking at a two-stop strategy based on how early he pitted.
I think ideally what you do is you go for a three-stop strategy. You just tide yourself over a couple times, and then you fill up right before the last lap and just give her hell.
Kenny overtaking Hernandez, as does Zatoni. Edmonds has just bagged Foster.
Go to Case on Foster.
So the fresh tires are coming through the grid, along with Sean Kinney, who's just very out of position.
Put Foster's in the bag and took him home. Also, shout out to Darky Parking Structure, who posted up the link to the Australian dude doing cooking videos. That guy's amazingly hilarious. If you haven't watched that, you guys need to backtrack up in Discord and see that stuff.
That is true. Lucas Cranbeer looking to stick with Visar Jacoli. I think that really the first one to make the pit stop here is really the winner. Although it depends on how far you can get, because you got to get far enough to keep the one stop alive.
Well, what you got to do is
you want to get to about 37.5 minutes if you can. Remaining in the
What
race.
you do is you just hold the outside line all race as slow as possible, and you just have the fuel and tires are fine.
You're also at the back of the pack then.
I mean, I suppose if winning's your only goal, that's another thing to take in mind.
Getting the best result possible is the goal.
I suppose. So it's not like golf?
I mean, it's a different kind of scoring. Sean Kenny on the tail of Michael Magas. And he still has Zatoni behind him, so this is costing Zatoni a lot of time.
And sponsorship money.
Well, he's got BWT dollars. He's good. He's good to go.
Fair enough.
In the meantime, the top Mercedes, Lucas Cranbeer, still on the tail of the top BMW, Visargicoli. It looked like somebody went off in the background there. I wonder if that was a blue-flagged car, though. As Magas gets passed by both Kenny and Zatoni. Somebody in the pit lane. It is Richard DeRoche.
It's not Mike.
No.
Or the other Mike?
No.
What about the other Mike?
No, it's Richard.
No, alright.
It's Grande Ricardo.
Si, grande Ricardo. Muy caliente.
Another moment there for Sean Kenny.
That man is drunk, and I should know.
He's not having a great day. And he's in the wall again. God damn it.
Something wrong with that boy.
So DeRoche has come out behind Magas. That's a teammate of his. So we'll see if Magas makes it easy or makes it hard.
Well, why don't you tell me?
I wouldn't want to spoil it.
Oh, come on, tell me a little bit. Tease me a little bit. Come on.
Let him in. Let him through easy.
Oh, no, go on. You're going to get a little rough. Come on.
Nah, you don't want to be rough with teammates.
Well, I think the Booty Warrior would be very disappointed.
We could do this the easy way. We could do this the hard way. Now, see, you're choosing the hard way.
I'll call
This
him
Sergeant
Chris
Coley in the
Haynes.
pit lane. Boondocks. I missed that show.
They're supposed to be doing more.
Are they? That'd be
I heard.
awesome.
Let me look it
That'd
up.
be awesome.
I'll pull that shit up, Jamie.
Oh, Larry Foster, I think, went off the track there. Martin Edmonds on the tail of Michael Magas, who is diving into the pit lane by the looks of it.
Maybe.
Lucas Cranbeer rejoins in 10th place, so he's been in and out and has served his time. Top 6 have yet to pit, along with Christoph Verstappen. I think Foster, Hernandez, and Magas are all in the pits now. But we may be waiting on Vic Nash, Peter Stefani, Douglas DeGroat, and Sean Kenny. Although Kenny back in 32nd or 26th place, I suspect that he has had problems. This is, of course, one of the lower entry count tracks, limited to 32 cars, so almost a full field today. Martin Peterman continues to lead the way, and that is Michael Magas coming out of the pit lane, and will allow the second place car through, or the leader actually through, because Alex Kruger is in the pits.
Yeah, it looks like they're something announced there would be a, quote, reimagining of the television series. Reboot of the series officially announced. Gonna run something or other. John Witherspoon confirmed. Although he did die. So John Witherspoon not coming back for doing voices. It's supposed to be on HBO Max the fall of 2020. The service has ordered 2 full seasons of 24 episodes.
Nice. Hopefully they don't change it too much, but we'll see.
I don't know. I don't know about reimagining.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that sometimes. Someone who's come out a little bit poor in the pit stops here is Dimitris Simeonidis. He's come out behind Gerardo Daval and very close to Gideon Schultz and John Barker. So that's not worked out for him all that well. Alex Kruger had a terrible pit stop. He's down to 14th place.
Did not spend enough Kruger ants.
The longtime leader is way back, Douglas DeGroat. Drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane. Some more bad news for the Guyanese driver, and I can confirm we've lost Sean Kenny from the race, and only 25 cars remain.
Correct.
So here's Kruger, who had a terrible pit stop, is now on the tail of John Barker, who probably isn't a car he expected to see just in general, to be honest. Vizar Jacoli behind Richard DeRoche now. Interesting. So Richard, on the opposite end of the spectrum, has picked up some spots through the pit stops. Although Ariel Zatoni has really worked this out. Although I have to say, I think Zatoni is for sure a 2-stopping strategy. A couple of cars in the pit lane there as well. Peter Stefani, I saw, was one of them.
Possibly one of the greatest singers in the 90s. Oh, it's Gwen Stefani, my bad.
Close enough.
I mean, hey, as long as you got them abs, maybe we can have a little talk about it.
So Martin Peterman continues to lead. I believe he's the on-track and effective leader with the way Kruger's pit stop panned out. He just needs to get a decent pit stop, and he'll be good to go. Josiah Jerome is in second place. Dirk Gretschel also yet to pit. So the top 3 still to come in.
Maybe. I think Josiah Jerome's going with the 1/8 of a pit stop strategy.
It's not really sure how that would work. What is 1/8 of a pit stop?
I mean, you just go really fast and then have a ramp set up so that only the front leading edge of your front tire kind of dips into pit range. And technically you're not speeding because you're not touching the ground, and then you just keep going.
So Vizar Jacoli has gotten past Richard DeRoche. In the pits comes Josiah Jerome, as well as Martin Peterman. So the lead goes to Dirk Gretschel. For the time being, at least until he makes his pit stop.
Indian.
And then he will not be in the lead anymore, I would imagine. Josiah briefly came out ahead of Vizar Jacoli and Richard DeRoche, but couldn't get up to speed to put the fight up with them, so he slips back to 6th place. I think it's a 5th place, effectively, because Gretschel, I think, will drop out of the top 5. So our big winners on the pit stops are, at least for now, Ariel Zatoni, but I think he'll have to pit again. Also, a big winner was Josiah Jerome. Big losers, Martin Edmonds. Dimitri Simeonidis did not come off terribly well. Alex Kruger is the biggest loser on the pit stops.
All I'm hearing is that if you go in the pit stop area, you're probably fucked.
That's not true, because all the cars have to go in the pits.
Yeah, you're all equally fucked.
Definitely not. Getting the pit stop right is a talent.
It's like pit stop communism. We're all equally fucked.
Christoph Verstappen's still not making a lot of progress through the grid. Still 19th place. Not having a good day.
He is also drunk.
There is our effective leader, Martin Peterman, and Gretschel's in the pit, so he's actually the actual leader now. So there we go. All right, so Gretschel served his pit stop. Everybody has cleared their mandatory. Now, whether they have to stop again is a different story. Martin Peterman leads from Ariel Zatoni, Visar Jacoli, Richard DeRoche, Josiah Jerome, Lucas Cranbeer, Martin Edmonds, Andrew D, Dimitri Simeonitis, Gerardo Delvel. That is your top 10. Very BMW heavy. 6 BMWs in the top 10. Although one of them, Martin Peterman, is not scoring for the brand. Still a very good day for BMW. They've needed this because the season so far has not been great for them. 3rd place.
Those that Jonathan Kenningston and Robbie the Waddler have not pitted, they will likely be disqualified.
I believe both of them are out of the race at this point.
That's the joke.
Gerardo Delval on the tail of Dimitri Simeonitis and Gideon Schultz at 11th place. I'm not gonna lie, it still puzzles me how fast Gideon Schultz has been in these DTM cars. He has been delivering at a very, very high level for Audi so far.
Well, see, what the thing is if you're in a DTM, you need to be taking the DMT, otherwise the lap doesn't count.
Josiah Jerome just picked up a spot on Richard DeRoche on our screen. There we go. And is up to 4th position. Looking at the people who pitted early, Douglas DeGroat disqualified for ignoring a drive-through penalty. So that is the end of the day for the BMW driver. That puts us down to 24 cars. So those who are looking at probably a second pit stop include Ariel Satoni, Gerardo Delval, Valentino Rossi probably looking for at an early pit stop. Martin Edmonds, I think, is looking at another pit stop. So these are the guys kind of in that ballpark of the 2-stop strategy. Alex Kruger, the man who got absolutely destroyed by the pit stops. He was winning this race comfortably. Now 13th place.
Well, see, that goes back to my whole conspiracy theory that Sasquatch is out there messing with people. Under the express orders of the guys from REM. Look it up, people.
Josiah Jerome all over the back of, that is Visar Jacoli, who's next on his list. 2 countries you don't usually see a lot in motorsports, Albania and Guyana. Or not Guyana, Dominica.
Is this part of the old REM Sasquatch conspiracy? They don't let Albanians drive cars? Is that
No,
because the Albanians steal so many cars?
There's just not a tremendously large number of Albanian racers.
I think it's probably because they steal so many cars that they just don't let them race professionally.
Let's put it this way. I can't name an Albanian racer.
Is that because you have trouble pronouncing the names? Or
nope. Not at all. I don't know any. I cannot think of one.
That makes you the racist racer in the world.
There are 3 countries on the grid today that I cannot think of a real-life racer from that country.
America, Germany, and France.
These are all not even remotely close to these troops.
Oh, my bad.
It's Guyana, Dominica, and Albania.
Well, sugar dog biscuits.
Actually, might not be able to name anyone from Chile either. It's got to be someone from Chile. Got to be.
I think Argentina would disagree.
Oh, Chico Serra is from Chile.
Chico Suave.
Although I don't think he races anymore. He was an F1 driver back in the, I want to say 80s and 70s.
The early 50s.
Probably has hung up his racing gloves for now. Oh, did you see they're doing these all-star races with former F1 drivers?
Yeah. There's one where the guy said a bad word.
Well, that was a NASCAR one.
Yeah, it should be expected with NASCAR though.
But there's a video on YouTube of the showdown between Jenson Button and Jacques Villeneuve, and they have the webcams pointed at them.
Ooh.
And it's Button is like driving with the full racing setup, like the wheel and everything. And then it goes over to Villeneuve, who's fighting with him. And he's playing with a PlayStation controller.
That's awesome. Bitch, I don't even need pedals. Fuck you.
Visargicoli looking down the inside. Yeah, Button like pumps his fist when he gets past Villeneuve, and then it just goes to Villeneuve with the controller. It's like you may not want to watch this later, but no, Jacoli gets up into second place there, and Ariel Zatoni is in trouble. He is the one that I thought most likely would have to pit a second time for tires, and it's looking like his tires might be gone already.
You mean other than Martin?
Well, Martin is another one, yes. I think Martin will probably... Oh, nice overtake there by Lucas Cranbeer.
That looks a little scrappy there in the backpack.
It does. But Jerome has gotten... Jacoli and Jerome have gotten past Zatoni, and I think Lucas Cranbeer is going to be next. And in fact, if I'm Ariel Zatoni, I'm getting out of the way of my two teammates here, Cranbeer and DeRoche, because they have tires to try to take this fight to the Audi and the BMW. You don't. And Lucas Cranbeer is indeed going to take that fourth place at Tarzan.
Word on the street is that Josiah had to splice in an angle grinder to use a steering wheel, as well as discovering he had a second foot.
True. Oh! Richard DeRoche getting a little wide there.
Whoa, body shaming.
Getting a little wide in the line there.
We don't do that here, sir.
Hey! I am a man who cannot body shame. I am rotund. I am Husky Harris quality.
You are Mike Rotunda.
Alex Kruger is up into 10th place. Next on his list is Gerardo Doval, and that is Gideon Schultz and Dirk Greschel in the background.
Dirk Grissel. He's one tough competitor.
He is. Josiah Jerome on the tail of Visar. So it looks like Josiah might not be done. All over the back of Visar. He had a very good pit stop and is making things happen. As Kruger gets around Delvale and into 9th place.
Well done. He is the stuff of nightmares, Julio Kruger.
Josiah looking down the inside of turn 1. He got that easily. Whoa.
Yoink.
Visar maybe chickening out a little bit there. I mean, Josiah's got fresher tires. He went later, but it shouldn't be that much of a difference. As Gideon Schultz all over Gerardo. Gerardo's another one of those that I thought pitted way too early, and he might be paying the price now with these tires going off.
I think the surprise result of this race is Gideon Schultz, who finally arrived on time for a race.
Oh, Lucas Cranbeer just disconnected from the server, and the most prominent Mercedes driver is out.
He crammed too many beers. Blood internet, alcohol internet level exceeded legal regulations. Had to get cut down.
Gideon Schultz versus Gerardo Delval. This is not a showdown I was expecting to see at this racetrack.
Loser has to wear a mullet. I just made that up, but it's totally legally binding.
I think Gideon already does.
Wouldn't make sense.
Richard DeRoche looking to get past Ariel again. I'm a little disappointed in Ariel Zatoni as a member of the Mercedes team for not letting Richard through. You don't have the tires. This is not good teamwork. Oh, contact. This is terrible.
Big fat contact patches. Oh,
Mercedes continues to shoot themselves in the foot.
That's not ideal. What you want to do is you want to raise the barrel up a little higher, so at least you're scaring the person in front of you, not damaging yourself.
Alex Kruger takes Delvea. Or no, that's Simeonitis he's fighting with. Delvea did lose a spot as well, though, as Gideon Schultz has overtaken him for 8th place. Zatoni out of the top 10 now, so possibly in the pits again. He wasn't going for the pits when we saw him, but the contact may have made that a requirement.
Maybe. Demetrios, the simulacrum Simeonitis.
Visargicoli on the tail of Richard Roche. Drive-through penalty speeding in the pit lane for Valentino Rossi. Where is he currently? Rossi, where are you? 17th place. So not doing great.
We'll soon be dropping down to 28th place.
Not possible.
Well, you just don't have any idea how many penalties I can throw out.
You still can't drop someone below the running people. The lowest you can be is 22nd.
You know what? I don't want to. I didn't show up for this negativisms. So, I mean, appreciate if you had a little bit more faith in my ability to totally sabotage the fuck out of things.
I have absolute faith in your ability to be funny, to be entertaining, to have great taste in music.
Hey, there you
go. To prepare ribs.
You should see the pizza pictures I put up.
I did.
My goodness, that is delicious.
But I have no faith in your ability to interpret racing regulations.
It's not the ability to interpret racing regulations, it's my ability to bribe the judges.
Well, you might want to send Jack some money then.
It's not going to be money. It's going to be maybe I'll send him some ribs.
I mean, Jack is a rib guy.
Hey, Jack, what do you do for some ribs? Make pretty good ribs. You should ask around.
Looks like Gerardo might have been into the pits again. He's down to either he's made a mistake, he's gone into the pits, or he's lost all kinds of pace. And the most likely of those is he's been in the pits.
I'm going to go with D, all of the above. This race currently sponsored by Orange Crush, but in German.
I mean, your D, all of the above is pretty accurate because going into the pits as early as he did was a mistake. So he made a mistake. He might be in the pits again, and he probably was losing time.
Indeed.
Alex Kruger on the tail of Martin Evans.
This race sponsored by Orange Crush, but in German, and Hancock tires.
As easy overtake there for Kruger. Edmonds didn't even try to shut that door.
If the numbers are to be believed, your boy J Double has halved the gap to Martin Peterson.
Quite possible. I've not really been paying attention to the gap because it's been so large.
It was 20 seconds plus, and it was down to just above 10 at one point.
Ariel Zatoni looking to make a move on Daniel Hernandez. I believe Zatoni has the fresh tires now, and should be making some move. Gideon Schultz returns to the race after having to make his second pit stop, so his tires did not hold up as well as he had hoped.
Well, maybe he should just try driving so fast he achieves flight.
And wow, Gideon Schultz just overtook Christoph Verstappen. Words I didn't think I'd be saying.
I'm telling you, Christoph Verstappen drunk as hell right now.
Christoph is having a really underwhelming race, but he's not like flying off the track or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He's not showing signs of racing well under the influence.
What you don't know is that he's been racing this entire time in reverse gear.
Oh boy.
I told him it was a strategy we try to work out, and he said I'll do it on the condition that I don't reveal. Oh shit! I fucked that up.
He sold you out on air, Christoph.
My bad, dog. It's the wine.
Wine? I refuse to believe that you can blame anything on wine. Needs something stronger.
I mean, this is a big boy bottle. And, I missed the mandatory pit stop window, but I'm going to take mine anyway. I'll be right back.
I actually recorded this race from my point of view, but I will not be uploading it because it was a little bit boring. We'll see if tomorrow's goes better. ACC action tomorrow coming up. And Visar Jacoli still on the tail of Richard DeRoche here for third place. That's Peter Stefani. Falling a lap down to Michael Magas, who may fall down a lap himself to the guys battling for third place. Alex Kruger in the mix there as well. In fifth place. Then is Edmonds, Simeonitis. Dirk Greshel's back into the top 10, ahead of James Butler and Del Valle. I believe Del Valle has fresh tires, as does Ariel Zatoni. And Zatoni's eating into him, so seems like the Mercedes is humming a little bit better than the BMW right now. Probably won't see any more pit stop action here for the remaining 17 minutes. If someone needs to make a pit stop now, they have frankly miscalculated when it will be, because they won't be able to take advantage really of the fresh tires due to the lap count left. We're looking at maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 laps to go.
10 laps, you can put some fresh bagels on there with some cream cheese. Oh, sorry, tires, not food, my bad.
Not food, no. As DeRoche still holds off Visar Jacoli, battle for third place. They've got a Mercedes of Michael Magas up ahead of them. Will he play a role in helping out teammate Richard DeRoche?
Well, I mean, I did try and tell you to just submarine as many people as possible.
I did not listen.
You did not.
But the Mercedes team has not had great teamwork all throughout this race. Some issues surrounding Ariel Zatoni, both with him as the victim and the perpetrator to a degree. And obviously the contact between him and DeRoche probably setting the team relations back a fair bit. Larry Foster on the tail of Daniel Hernandez. So Foster trying to make up some ground. They got Gideon Schultz in there as well. Schultz is looking for a move. Foster, that's an overcook. And that's going to let Schultz through into 13th place.
Does that mean that egg's not going to be as good and tasty as it was if you overcooked it?
That's true. And Daniel Hernandez, Foster coming back at him. Schultz also got Hernandez, so Hernandez made a mistake. And that's Christoph Verstappen in the background, who just seems absolutely lost for pace, and I cannot explain it.
But could you make something up that's entertaining?
Sure, he secretly has your body in the trunk.
Hurtful.
I didn't say you were dead.
Okay,
I said body, not corpse.
Like, that went dark really fast. Am
Said
I
body,
allowed
not
to shout
corpse.
Instructions from the trunk, though?
Of course.
Excellent.
I expect it.
Turn left! Turn left! I'll just yell turn left all
Oh,
the time.
Visar down the inside of Richard DeRoche, but that turns into the inside for Richard, so he keeps the spot. Vic Nash up ahead. Magus has caught him. I think that's just a blue flag scenario. Visar got the spot, but is going to lose it back. And the man who might be paying off on this whole thing is Alex Kruger there in the BWT Mercedes. He is all over the back of Jacoli now.
Albert the Krugerant. Well done. I'd like to remind the listening and viewing public that all of these jokes are jokes for legal reasons.
Mm-hmm. They are legally defined as jokes.
Correct.
And are protected under the Good Humor Act of 1772.
The International Good Humor Act, signed in the Accords of the Bern, Switzerland, with the thing, the stuff. It's all out there. You can look it up. Put him in the wall! Oh no.
Christoph Verstappen losing a spot there to Hernandez? Or I think that's losing a spot back. Looks like Larry Foster dropping back, though, so he's had some problems. Somebody in the pit lane there retired. I think that's Douglas DeGroat. So he is still in the server despite the DQ, it appears.
That's me in the spotlight. That's me losing my division.
Not really sure what Douglas DeGroat's division is right now. His PI would have him as a bronze driver, but he's got way more speed than any other bronze driver.
I didn't know he was a private investigator.
PI is Performance Index.
Oh.
Christoph Verstappen on the tail of Daniel Hernandez, so they're still battling it out.
So you're telling me that instead of body shaming, they're performance shaming?
Yes.
I will file an injunction with the court in The Hague about this.
They don't care.
That's fair.
They only care about discrimination against Max Verstappen in motorsport.
What if I said a bad word?
It depends on the word, I guess.
I guess it does, doesn't it? One day you're able to go around circles to the left, and the next day you're not.
Really poking at Kyle Larson, are we?
What a fucking dipshit.
Yeah. There's a lot of people trying to defend him, too, which is a little bit sad.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the footage or anything like that, but as I understand
it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, as I understand it, he was trying to get somebody's attention and then just decided to do the most attention-getting thing possible. But then, according to the information I've heard and seen from other sources, he thought he'd just done something funny and was waiting for everybody to pop huge.
Depending on what story you believe, and he's told both, so...
Oh, good.
It's a bit of a thing. Yeah, either it was a joke or it was him fucking around with his spotter tool. And, because the spotter apparently couldn't hear him. And,
say anything. Yeah. Say spatula.
Yeah.
Say herpetogonosyphilis. Anything. Anything's less...
It's really kind of making the NASCAR community look pretty bad because, well, you got a bunch of people who are like, well, black guys say it in rap. I'm like, yeah, it's a really different thing.
Yeah, and there's that whole argument where, like, well, I mean, it's one of the most popular music genres in the world, and that word is used in, I think, 20% of the verbiage in over the course of all songs in that genre, so it's pretty widespread. I guarantee you there's people in Japan that just say the word all the time because they don't have any reason not to. There's no cultural
nothing. They lack the context.
Exactly. So it's going to get to the point, this is maybe wrong of me to say, but it's going to get to the point where everybody just says the word because it's so popular to say. And then what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, like, I'm all for the idea that people need to just not let words bother them.
Yeah.
There are various insults you can hurl at a Serb or Croat that I don't give a fuck.
You smell like cabbage.
I mean, it comes down to this. People are like, well, they punished him too strongly, or they went with the nuclear option. I'm like, this is how sponsorship in any kind of sport works.
Yeah.
We either sponsor you or we don't. So I ask everyone who's like, who says he was over punished to give me the answer of, so what is the punishment then? Because when it comes to sponsors, and everything else is secondary to the sponsors. Because I think if you did an interview with Kyle Larson right now, we're like, if you could go back in time and you still said the word, but you could appeal one part of your punishment, it wouldn't be the iRacing ban that he got. Like, it wouldn't be the game ban. It wouldn't be anything. It would be like that the sponsors would not drop him. Because if the sponsors drop you, everything else happens anyways. Your NASCAR career comes to a grinding halt because unless you are Jeff Gordon or Dale Earnhardt, you need sponsors.
Yep. You need that money to make that car, and when you crash it inevitably because you're a shit driver, you're gonna need
Larson's a quality driver. I mean, he's a top 10 NASCAR driver. But even a top 10 driver without sponsors doesn't get great seats. Doesn't get winning cars. So if the sponsors leave you, Chip Ganassi's going to drop you. That's his team. You're not going to find a place on NASCAR's grid because you don't have money. And again, like I kind of agree to a degree that the iRacing ban, given what people were routinely get away with on iRacing is the air quote nuclear option, but I don't think that matters. Like, I don't think Kyle Larson feels any better about the situation knowing that he could eventually race iRacing again. Like, that seems like the least of his concerns. Because he can go do Race Room, which we're watching right now, or Assetto Corsa, or R Factor, Project Cars, Automobilista. Like, there are other racing sims that can replace iRacing.
I think that maybe he should record a rap album. No, that's probably the worst idea. Never mind.
And there's also this weird thing where, like, people, there are people who are trying to defend it by saying, well, he's not white. I'm like, he's half white, half Japanese and races in NASCAR. He's white. Let's be honest here. From the standpoint of this word, he is white.
Didn't even know he was of other ethnicity other than European.
His mom was Japanese.
Your mom?
Or is Japanese. I don't know if she's alive. I've not actually found an article that they all keep saying his mom was, and I'm like, is his mom dead?
No,
like,
she's Chinese now.
She's Chinese now. Okay.
She changed sides.
Whoa! Richard DeRoche doing his best to try to break the slipstream here of Visar Jacoli and Alex Kruger, and it's not gonna work because down the ends. Oh, contact! Little rubbing, nothing too bad.
I wanted to get bad.
But Visar Jacoli does get the job done and is up into third place.
I'd like to point out that Josiah Jerome is still hovering within 13 to 10 seconds of the lead and has widened the gap to 15, 16 seconds.
Well, the widening of the gap is because there's this three-way rumble going on for third place right now that we are watching between Visar Jacoli, Richard DeRoche, and Alex Kruger. One would think if Kruger could get past DeRoche and Jacoli, he would have a chance of catching Jerome, although not at the gap that we're talking about here. Andrew D has dropped down to 18th place, so something has happened there. Martin Edmonds is dropping. He's down to 7th, or pardon me, 8th place, actually, behind Simeonitis and Greshel.
Get him, Gristle. Tough it out.
And Mike Magas doing a surprisingly good job of staying with this battle, but of course he's just basically getting to watch it.
Well, maybe push the gas pedal a little harder.
He's down a lap. He's not really supposed to fight with these guys.
Well, see point A.
Alex Kruger on the DRS, looking to get past Richard DeRoche, but nothing doing at this time. And Edmonds has now dropped behind James Butler, so he is dropping like a stone to 9th place. We'll see if he drops further. Something clearly wrong with that car.
Well, you see, what they did is they put the transmission in backwards, so it's all kind of like goofy foot.
Of course, we've been talking about tires. Martin Edmonds at the end of a race with no tires, that would be par for the course.
Excellent.
As Gerardo and Ariel Zattoni overtake Edmonds and drop him to 11th place. I think he's in the pits, so either getting damaged, fixed, or swapping for a new set of tires here. Maybe he should have calculated that for earlier because he's not going to get the advantage of the pace of that new rubber really at all with about 3 laps to go.
Hey man, you seem to, in the last half of the race, you dropped back quite a ways. What happened there? Well, you see, what happened was I went in for a pit stop and they put my tires on sideways.
That would be interesting. At some point, we've lost Valentino Rossi from the race. He's 10 laps down. So 22 cars still running. Oh,
Nudgy.
Risky defense, but effective defense there from Visar Jacoli, who hangs on to 3rd place against Richard DeRoche. I'd like to thank Richard for the setup he gave me for this track. It was quite nice.
I don't want to spoil anything, but everybody crashes and Mike finishes first.
I'm waiting for that day.
It will be an interesting day.
Had that day in a random race the other day. Actually, I was racing with Rochelle and who was the other person there? Ziggy. Ziggy was there. We were
Ziggy
racing.
Puffy?
We were racing on Race Room and just doing like silhouettes at Portimao. And like these three kind of like pretty fast guys were out ahead of us and, you know, dancing around, fighting for the lead and whatever. Last lap, I'm in 4th place and the gap just starts closing at a rapid rate. And I'm like, oh, cool, I'll get a podium. One of them went off. And I went past them all at the final turn going, oh no, they're all off. And picked up the win.
And then the checks were in the mail.
Mm-hmm. Visar Jacoli trying to break that slipstream from Richard DeRoche. Really, the only problem with the breaking of the slipstream is that he's got DRS, so you honestly are just better off setting up for a defensive run into Tarzan than the excessive weaving, in my opinion. Mind you, these are drivers who are notably better than I am, so I could be entirely incorrect.
When you drive through the Tarzan, do you have to swing from literal vines while beating your chest?
Nah, it's just the first turn.
Babe.
It's the only turn. It's one of the only 2 turns on this track I actually remember the name of, though. The other one is the Audi S.
What about that one, the Oju?
That's Spa-Francorchamps. And it's Eau Rouge.
Yeah, I prefer Oju to Eau Rouge myself.
I mean,
I don't need any help
I
in
would
the
think
makeup
so.
department, thank you.
I would think so. It's not like Spa-Francorchamps, of course, is the one where everyone can name like almost all the turns. Radion, Bus Stop, Eau Rouge.
Radiation, what?
Radion, Pouillon, Stavlo.
You'd stab like really low?
Really low. Like groinal area.
Damn. I don't hear about none of that.
Actually, I saw a Robot Chicken short that I had actually not seen. It was the best of Disney and Pixar Robot Chicken bits.
Uh-huh.
One of them was the Little Mermaid, and it's the prince and Ariel having a romantic date in a bog, and Sebastian's like, perhaps you should share a little love with the house. He's like, what am I going to pay you for? What, you think a swamp is a romantic? You owe me, buddy.
Fuck.
And he's like, no, I'm not going to pay you. Sebastian's like, gets in there, the claw goes into the crotch area, and he's like, listen, let me make it very clear here. I have 2 skills. 1 is making a swamp into a romantic area, and 2 is to cut the man who is cheap. So tell me, are you cheap?
I noticed that there's signs up on this track that just say Ultimate and have no further context.
It's probably that there's a sponsor that's supposed to be there that is doesn't have any kind of deal with Race Room to allow their sponsorship to be shown.
Hilarious.
Which again, I have to say, I've said this a couple of times. I find it weird that car companies and sponsors or whatever are not honestly just more willing to just let their shit be in the game. It's free advertisement.
Mm-hmm. I'll just go with Ultimate must be the best dick pill that there's ever been.
Could be. It's a Dutch dick pill, apparently.
Ultimate dick pill. If you're new to this particular format, Mike and I just assume every sponsor is a dick pill until
pretty much. Unless we know what it is, it's a dick pill. Whoa! Ariel Zattoni off the track, and Gerardo Del Val is up in a 9th place. Did Zattoni survive it? Did he hit the wall?
He did.
Okay, it looks like he is still running, so he will still get a top 10 after his journeys through everything here. And probably a little bit of early celebration there. Martin Edmonds off that pit stop in 13th now, trying to track down Christoph Verstappen. So after all that, Verstappen did get up to 12th place, but that is probably of little consolation to the championship contender.
Brutal. I'd like to state for the record that Douglas DeGroat has won the entire thing, and you can't prove otherwise because I just deleted the last half of this video.
I see. Ooh, Daniel Hernandez's car looks a little beat up. Anyways, your final results, your race winner with fastest lap, Martin Peterman from Josiah Jerome, Visar Jacoli. Richard DeRoche is the top Mercedes ahead of Alex Kruger. It was Alex, right? And Dirk Greschel. Dimitri Simeonitis, really solid effort in 7th place ahead of James Butler, Gerardo Del Val, Ariel Zatoni, Gideon Schultz, Christopher Streppen, Martin Edmonds, Larry Foster, Daniel Hernandez, John Barker, Michael Magas, Andrew D, a pretty underwhelming 18th place, Mauricio Delgado, Leonard Burke, Vic Nash, and Peter Stefani. Out of the race due to technical issues, Lucas Cranbeer, Liam Curtin, Valentino Rossi, we're not sure what happened to him, Robert Waddell, not sure what happened to him, and the disqualification of Douglas DeGroat. Did you enjoy the race, Mr. Biden?
Indeed, I did. I was a little disappointed you couldn't beat Christopher Streppen. I had hopes, but
I'm sorry to let you down, sir.
Well, next time more gas pedal.
I would have celebrated that quite hard.
Cha-cha.
We'll do the quick standings update, and then we'll call it an evening here. If you want to come up with a sponsor to send us out on, please do.
This particular race brought to you by Tank Helmets. Tank Helmets found at the Tank Museum in Bovington.
Solid plug.
That's today's curator at home. He's going to talk about Tank Helmets, and I'm going to watch it.
So in the brand championship, Audi has moved back into first place due to Mercedes having a season low 148 points here today. For comparison purposes, Audi scored 250 and 264 for BMW. BMW making notable progress, but still in third place overall. It's 935 for Audi, 900 for Mercedes, and 879 for BMW. In the Drivers' Championship, Christoph Verstappen leads the championship with 181 points, 1 point ahead of Richard DeRoche. Following him, it's Martin Edmonds with 155, 140 for Lucas Cranbeer, 133 for Andrew D, 123 for John Barker, who is the top Division 2 guy. Ariel Zatoni, 121, 112 for Sean Kenny, who has his second DNF in 4 rounds. Elio Fernandez, 110, and 108 for Josiah Jerome. The top Division 3 driver is Vic Nash on 58 points. So congratulations, Vic.
Well done.
And we'll just give the top 3 in each division. Division 1, Verstappen, DeRoche, and Edmonds. Division 2 is Barker, Fernandez, and Hernandez. And Division 3 is Nash, Stefani, and Toby Howard.
Go get him, Tobias.
And we wish Toby Howard all the best in his sabbatical from the sim racing community.
Apparently he's diseased.
There's some personal issues as well, but I'm not going to go over them.
Oh, I was not aware of that. The last time I saw Toby, he said he had some symptoms and he would not be around.
Indeed, his general immune system and overall health picture is not terribly solid. So these are trying times for anyone in that case, including myself, because, of course, I do qualify as high risk due to my lung history.
We're just going to have those removed.
I mean, if we can grow some new ones or something.
Oh, sure. I mean, if you want to go on easy mode.
Anyways, that's all from Zandvoort. Next up will be the Red Bull Ring in this series. Although the next race of commentary will be... Let me have a quick look here if there's anything coming up that we need.
Martin still won't let us do expos.
There will be the Academy race on April 25th. 3 rounds at Suzuka, at the Suzuka circuit, East layout, and also the Enduro from Bathurst. So that's what we got coming up.
Excellent.
So get ready for shower hearse jokes from Byron.
Heck yeah, jacuzzi hearse, here we come.